here's the problem with that. Everybody picks and chooses different sites to,
Yeah.
that's why I stick the NFL Pro on like pressure rate, but they don't have how many times someone was double teamed to the best of my knowledge. So we could probably run that information down. I just try to be forward focused and not go back and, what exactly happened there? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, that'd be a good question to entertain. I imagine he would be toward the top. Myles Garrett, I don't want you guys to take me the wrong way. Myles Garrett's a force. That dude is a
Yep.
hell of a football player. Hell of a football player. So, Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, watch some highlights of Higgins from Iowa State. Tim, are you Mike Witt's burner?
That is not my burner. Mike Witt is a real person.
Highlights from Higgins from Ohio State. He reminds me a little bit of Nico Collins, a little bit. As for LVN, he reminds me of Aaron Campman. Consistently good, just not great. Yeah, Aaron Campman, I think that's a pretty accurate depiction of him. No one ever looked at Aaron Campman like as a Hall of Famer, right, Tim?
Right.
But he was that dude that you looked up every game and went, yeah, he is a difference maker. If Aaron Campman at his best is LVN's peak, shoot, sign me up, bro. Sign me up for that. I really liked Aaron Campman.
I think that's a good comp for sure. And same thing with the Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins. I think that's pretty accurate as well. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that when the Packers take a receiver in this draft, that it is, in fact, my boy Jaden Higgins. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of receiver talent in this. That's one area of this draft that we are not short on talent. It's definitely the wide receiver position. So it'll be fun to see how that pans out for us with Goody, because we know about the visits. We know who he's kind of had his eyes on. Higgins also being one of those guys, but ultimately, man, there's a ton of talent that could fall to us in the draft, or if Goody trades back and loads up on picks, man, I can definitely see more than just Jaden Higgins being in the conversation.
Yeah, when you look at the incoming rookie class of receivers, the thing that sticks out to me about Higgins is obviously it's his size, right? And he's got some experience too. He was there for 4 years. Jaden Higgins, 350 targets last year. It didn't lead, but it's probably definitely top 5, at least top 10 out of this list here. The thing about Higgins is nothing's in the red. He doesn't do anything bad. Like when you look at his yards per game at 68.9, I think that's yards per target, pass attempt, or what have you. He's at a 201. It's white. It's not in the red. It's not in the green. His passer rating when targeted was a 110.3. It's in the white, not in the red, not in the green. His first down target, though, 0.46, is in pretty, kind of medium green, right? That's kind of one of his strengths there in that regard. And his yards per route ran is in the white at 2.24. So what I'm saying is he doesn't really do anything bad. And then you throw in the 6'4", 6'5" frame, whatever he's officially listed at, 6'3", whatever it is, that's going to skyrocket him. If he tests well at the combine, his RAS is going to be through the roof. That's going to raise his stock a little bit. When you look at this chart of the players, though, the one that really sticks out to me, and again, Mike Witt, thank you for bringing this up. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. You're looking for greens across the board on this chart right here, right?
Yep.
And the ones that really that you get the closest to being green all the way around, Trey Harris is in the green on every statistic, right? Now, some are darker than others, obviously, with the yards per route ran at 3. He's the one that's kind of the most appealing to me on this list when you look at just the chart alone and the information it provides. Travis Hunter, obviously, dark green with the passer rate when targeted 137.8. A GM the other day, it might have been anonymous, said they would play him at receiver over corner. That was interesting. So we'll see what a team actually decides to do. I thought that was kind of settled. He was going to be a corner, but I was way wrong on that. It sounds like he may actually be it might be possible for him to play receiver. Tetero McMillan's another one that's close to being as perfect as you could. Emeka Egbuka, he's one up there. Matthew Golden, I know some people are high on Matthew Golden. I'm not. I mean, you got three of the 5 categories are in the red, with 2 being in the green. That's kind of if you're going to take him at 23, that would make me nervous. Emeka Egbuka, Tim, if he fell to number 23, I'd be totally okay with that, because you guys know how I feel about Jaden Reed potentially going to the Z, and then you could put Egbuka in a slot if you needed to.
That's interesting, because if he's on the board there, right, it's like, oh, man, we might take a receiver in the first round if we have that pick still, if we haven't traded it,
Yeah, and then if you were to take a receiver in the first round, that definitely reduces our possibility of taking Jaden Higgins in the second round, unfortunately. But I think it's highly unlikely we go receiver with the 23rd pick.
Me too.
But as always, man, it comes down to, how the board falls, and what does Goody's board look like? Trey Harris is one that's interesting to me, man. I wonder, I don't have the one show I don't have the draft information pulled up. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick. I want to see exactly where they've got him on the big board right now in Trey Harris, and kind of see, okay, where would it make sense for us to take Trey Harris? Because that's a player that I haven't looked at a lot. I know there was one mock. It might have been Daniel Jeremiah or Kyle Krabs that had us taking Trey Harris at 23. But when you look at Trey Harris on the consensus big board, they currently have him in the 51 spot. So not really worthy of the 23rd pick according to the consensus big board. But if he's hanging around in the second round, that's another dude.
Yeah, for sure. It
may come down to Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris in the second round. That's a tough decision, Tim. I know you like your boy Higgins. I think I would probably lean toward Trey over Higgins, but boy, oh boy.
I will feel bad about neither of those guys being a Packer,
because Trey's big too, right? Am I thinking right?
Taller dude? He's definitely, I want to say 6'4" or something like that. Let's look him up real quick. Trey Harris is 6'3", 210. Yeah. But I'm with you, Clay. I don't think we go first. Maybe even we don't go second round with
right.
We talked about, I love what you're saying about Trey Harris, especially looking at this chart. And then my eyes immediately go down to Jalen Royals. You look at his chart too. If we're just going based off of this chart, his numbers look relatively decent. And I think Jalen Royals is a guy that, maybe he's there late second, or third round, or you can move and get a guy like him. A big Pat Bryant is another guy, although his chart doesn't look that great. But there's some value in the middle to late rounds with some of these receivers that I don't think we have to break the bank in reach and go early. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just feel like those bigger names, man, you're gonna have to move up or something if you want to Mbuka or to Tara McMillan, forget about it, right? These guys are going to be off the board. But you start getting into those other names, like you said, Harris, Higgins, Tez Johnson out of Oregon, Jalen Royals, those guys. Hell, Jack Besh, where does where's his stock at right now? Because people were really high on Jack Besh after the Senior Bowl. I'm wondering coming out of the combine, where is he going to fall? That could be a guy that could go, second, third round, possibly.
Could be wrong, but I think they said Jack Besh had did he have it was either the best hands or one of the worst hands in the draft. I can't remember, but he's currently sitting right now in the 72 spot according to the consensus big board. Now Jack Besh on our board, I want to say, I can't remember if he's, let's see here, Jack Besh, we've got him in the 81 spots. We're even lower than the consensus big board is on it. And he actually got the 8-point bonus from the Senior Bowl. He was a dude that stood out during the week, and Daniel Jeremiah liked, and then he obviously, went off in the game-winning touchdown, all that good stuff. So it's going to be interesting. As J. Cole says here, I'll say this, if we do pick a wide receiver in the second round, Higgins or Harris will be the one. It kind of feels like that too. That would fit that mold of what you wanted in Christian Watson. I know they're not going to be probably as fast as Christian Watson. Who knows when they test, but we'll find that out this week, obviously.
Yep.
So, all right. So again, just wanted to flash that up there. I love that graphic right there. I think that's a phenomenal graphic to have, just to kind of quickly reference across the board with wide receivers. Next one here from Todd Larson in the Patreon group. Thank you so much, Todd. He says, let me zoom in a little bit. Here is my latest favorite mock draft I did this morning. Number 23 pick, trade back and got 34 and number 104. So here we go. So his first pick is 34. He went Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss.
How the hell did Walter Nolan fall to 34?
Woo! If he does. And again, you guys know I was really high on Walter Nolan. The closer we're getting to the draft, he dropped a little bit on our board. We have Walter Nolan, however. Where are you at, sir? We have him in the 23 spot. Tim, if you trade back and you still get Walter Nolan at 34, sign me up.
Yep.
That would be phenomenal. And again, for people who go, are they even interested? The Packers did meet with them. So just keep that in mind. Then he went number 54, Trey Amos, cornerback, I think, out of Ole Miss as well.
Yep.
Let's see where we got Trey now. I'm not sure exactly where he's at on our board. Trey Amos, we've got him in the 51 spot. You got him at 54. I would sign off on that, Todd. That's a good pick there, man.
Yep.
Then he went Jalen Royals.
Speak of the devil, we were just talking about him.
Yes, sir. We've got Jalen Royals in the 74 spot. Todd got him at 87. Yes. So there you got a receiver, right, that you're looking for. I think that's really good value there, Todd, for sure. Then the next player here is Ashton. How do you say that name? Is it Galat? Is that how you would say it, Tim?
I think so. Galat, something like that. I'm going to go with Galat.
Boy, I like this a lot, man. He got Ashton Galat, edge defender out of Louisville. He got him at pick 104, right? We've got him in the 60 spot. So you're crushing it, Todd. Yeah. Number 123, he went Chase Lunt. I think he's out at UConn, right?
Yep, another good pick right here.
Yeah, we got him in the 80 spot. Todd got him at 123. You've got a whole draft of top 100 prospects according to our board.
Yep.
Wow. Then he said, you know what, let's get a little linebacker depth here. He went with Danny Stutzman. We've got him in the 101 spot. He got Danny at 160. I mean, if you do the math, you're getting him 2 rounds later than his value actually showed. That's phenomenal. And then he goes another wide receiver in Ja'Cory Brooks. Let's see.
Here's a guy.
Ja'Cory Brooks. So you got a couple teammates there. That makes sense sometimes, right? Ashton Galat played for Louisville. So did Ja'Cory Brooks. We've got him in the 230 spot. Todd got him at 239. Still good value. No doubt about it, man. And then, of course, his last pick, I think that's all of it. Yes. He went with Elijah Huzzy, I think is how you say it. Let's see where we got Elijah Huzzy. From UNC, we've got him in the 280 spot. You got him at 251. So that, out of all your picks, Todd, if we were to strictly go off our board, and I'm not saying our board is correct, I'm just saying this is how it would pan out. If we went strictly off our board, the only pick that you reached on that didn't line up with our board is pick 251, bro. You crushed it. And I'm telling you right now, if you're telling me you have to deal with that pick at 251 compared to all the other picks where you just knocked it out of the park, sign me up on this. If we did this, Tim, I think we had a hell of a draft, man.
I'm wondering if Todd's going to use this to enter the giveaway. Is this going to be his mock draft? Because I'll tell you, I would not be upset with any of these. I wouldn't be upset with the move of trading back and picking up 34 and 104. I'm certainly not upset about Walter Nolan being a Packer or anybody else on this list. I think this might be my favorite mock so far, honestly. I think Todd knocked it out of the park here, man.
Here's what's cool, too. People don't talk about this, but I don't know the exact number, but the fact that you went from 23 to 34 and still got a guy that was with the 23rd talent, you know how much money you're saving on that contract? Like, that's every pick that contract hits going down. This is a very, very, very cap-friendly draft, too, because you didn't – some people like to trade up, and that's great. If you trade up and get a phenomenal player, cool. But that cap hit, man, when you start getting in the top 20, it starts to climb quite a bit. This is – yeah, I'm with you, man. This is going on the mock draft Hall of Fame right here. It's a great draft.
Yes.
So, all right, good deal, man. So we hit all of our Patreon group. We got a little bit of time since we're not doing a show tonight, Tim. If it's all right, we'll run a little bit over here.
Yeah. I mean, I was late, so I'm not going to leave early.
No, you're good, dude. You're good. Let's kind of take a walk through Twitter real quick. And these are some of the topics I wanted to hit on. I'm going to keep this pulled up if I can. Trying to make the screen work here. If you'll keep an eye on the chat for me, Tim, make sure I don't miss any super chats. I know we've gotten a couple already. I want to make sure we honor those. And again, thanks to everybody in the Patreon group. We appreciate y'all. Devon Godchow, I think is how you say it. Some people say Davin Godchow. With the Patriots, it said Ian Rappaport said the Patriots have given defensive tackle Devon Godchow permission to seek a trade, sources say. So I just ran down the PFF grades, guys. Nothing here that's like, whoa, we need to go get this guy. His PFF grades, 63, 53, 50, and 51. Obviously, he wants to extend his career, and it sounds like the Patriots are ready to move on. So I don't think there's any value there in me personally. Moving along to the next one here. We were talking Myles Garrett for a while. We mentioned the contract early when we went to Spot Track. It's like, boy, that's going to be a hard contract to trade. Pro Football Talk tweeted out, Kevin Stefanski, I expect Myles Garrett on our team this year, and in the future. So, Tim, it's starting to look like realization is setting in that there's a really good chance Myles Garrett's going to stay on the Browns. Probably not a whole lot you want to add to this, but if you got something, chime in there. It's just a tough contract to trade. I'm not saying it's impossible. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but it's definitely below 50% chance, I think.
Do you think? Yeah, and I just don't think that there's. We talked about Jaire, right? Like we were saying, hey, if there's a restructure, he's probably going to stay. I don't think we would restructure Ja just to trade him. I think the opposite for Myles Garrett, right? Like, is there a chance that he tries to get them to restructure that deal to make it more friendly for him to be traded? It all depends. Based on what, Stefanski's saying here, I don't think so, right? He's saying I expect him on the team, whether he likes it or not.
Right, and this could kind of be the last hurrah, right, with them trying to keep him. I could see that too. But, yeah, the way his contract is structured, guys, the base salary is only $1.2 million. So you go, oh, that's great. The team that's trading for him, man, look at that. They don't have hardly any cap hit, right? There's an option bonus of $18.4 million. So the way this would work, if you're the Browns, I always try to remove my bias, whether I'm wanting a player or not, and put myself in the other team's shoes. I think that's a fair assessment of what the situation actually is. If you were the Browns, would you trade Myles Garrett and incur a $36.2 million cap penalty? But not just that, the cap hit on Myles Garrett this year is only $19.7 million. So would you rather have Myles Garrett for $19.7 million, or would you rather cut him loose and have a cap hit of $36.2 this year with a team that's already over on the cap? So, again, that has nothing to do with Myles Garrett wanting to trade. He wants to trade. But the Browns have got to be going to Myles Garrett going, Bub, I don't know what the hell you want us to do. We literally mortgaged the future to keep you here. There's nothing we can do about this type thing. So, I don't know.
I agree. I really do. I don't see how they do it. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I don't either. All right, let's move it along here on X. Let's see here. Rob Domofsky tweeted this out. Let me see if I can remember what it's about. He said, Brian Gutekunst told reporters yesterday at the Combine the Packers don't typically allow players to seek out a trade, but that doesn't mean the team isn't trying to do it. As Rapshi said, quote, we've really never allowed agents to go out and talk to teams. I think that's kind of one of the ones that probably happens anyway. So it's like we tell them, no, you're not allowed to do it, but it's still happening behind the scenes. And Jaire's got a great agent. If we ever went down that route, I think it would be very easy to work with him and his team. I don't really expect that, but we've never really done that. I think it's something that if we're going to trade a player, we would do that, and it would be the conversation between me and the other team. So basically what Goody's trying to do is take back power here and go, listen, buddy, you ain't driving this. You ain't steering this damn boat. I am. If we want to trade you, we'll trade you. If not, we won't. The agent isn't going to drive the narrative. You take this quote here, Tim, and then along with what Ian Rappaport tweeted out that we know came from the agent's camp, that's where you're like, okay, you kind of see what's going on. There's a little tug of war going on behind the scenes of what it feels like to me. I could be wrong.
Yeah. This could all be a little gamesmanship from Goody too, for all we know.
Could.
Like you said, just trying to take control of the reins there with the narrative. So We'll see.
Definitely. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, Tankathon latest mock has us drafting Barron from Texas in the first, Landon Jackson, edge from Arkansas, and Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle from FSU. Thoughts on the mock? Hey, I like this, man. Let's hit it real quick. Then we'll get back to the news here.
Man, Jahdae Barron, oh, man, if we go corner in the first round, that would not be my first pick.
Yeah, he's worthy of the 23rd pick according to our board, Tim. He's sitting at 22.
I believe that. I just,
he's got
my
the
personal bias.
Right, yeah. He's got the V, too, so he's versatile, right? He can play outside, he can play in. According to PFF in 2024, he was the third highest graded corner in all of college football. Here's what would give me hope about this move, all right? If we took Jahdae Barron with the 23rd pick, Daniel Jeremiah, I think this was before the Senior Bowl, had Jahdae Barron listed as the not the best prospect in the entire draft. If you're telling me we can get a top 10 talent, and this is, again, Daniel Jeremiah's opinion, if we can get a top 10 talent at 23, and oh, by the way, Jair is gone, I have no problem with that. But I understand where you're coming from too, because you want to focus on trenches. Again, I don't look up at the Eagles game and go, boys, we lost because we didn't have Jair out there. I don't see it that way at all. We lost to the Eagles because we fumbled the opening kickoff and we got our asses kicked in the trenches. So we can go this route, and it makes sense with my board. It makes sense with a former NFL scout and Daniel Jeremiah. But we can't look up and go, I can't believe this happened again if we get to the playoffs and the same thing happens again. You know what I mean, Tim?
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I mean, Barron is I'm not trying to crap on Jahdae Barron because he's borderline elite probably, and plays a little bit of slot as well. So there's kind of the versatility factor and everything. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too much of a Trey Amos fan, or too much. Like Siobhan Ravel's another guy I like. But I just don't. I'm really hoping we don't go corner in the first round. I really hope we don't. But right. I guess if you do, yeah. I mean, if it's not going to be, if it's not going to be Travis Hunter, where else do you go, right? You probably go to Jahdae Barron. So I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, and we have Jahdae Barron in the 22 spot. We have Siobhan Ravel in the 17 spot. And then, of course, Will Johnson's in the 9 spot. People are anticipating he's going to be gone.
Where do we have Trey Amos? We were just talking about him. Where's he on our board?
Trey Amos. We have him in the 51 spot.
Yeah, so he's definitely lower. Okay.
Like a second right now. Listen, that's just our opinion. We know one of the early mocks, it was either with Kyle Krabs or Daniel Jeremiah. They took Trey Amos with the 23rd pick. So, please don't take my board as the gospel. You guys know how our board is built. We've been completely transparent this year. You know how we've come up with it. It's a very safe board. What that means is the guys at the top of our board are safe picks. You're probably not going to get crazy upside, but your chances of them being a bust, I think, are way lower if you stay at the top of our board, if that makes sense.
I agree.
All right.
Emilio in the chat said Daniel Jeremiah said Barron is an elite nickel. So that was the words used by one of our trusted advisors here. So good catch there, Emilio.
Yeah. So if you're an elite nickel, when you go to your nickel 4-2-5, you kick Barron inside, and that would mean, barring any other draft picks or free agent signings or trades, your outside corners would be Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine, and then you would have a young stud playing nickel. Now, obviously, that puts Javon Bullard back on the bench, but just because he's an elite nickel, right, Emilio, doesn't mean he wouldn't play outside. He's got the versatility to play outside. Yep. To me, I like what Javon Bullard did in the slot. And I could be wrong. I might feel totally different next year. You guys know I was very vocal about Savage. I've been very vocal about Kenny. If I don't like a player, I'll just say, hey, man, he's bad. I felt like Javon Bullard was bad at safety. That's just me. Before and after the shuffling around everything, he just never – when he's in the slot, he's not a great covered corner, but, man, the value he adds in the run D, if you got Jahdae Barron, yeah, there you go. Emilio said correct. Definitely can play outside. You better get back to building that wall, sir. If you got Jahdae Barron and you put him outside, and then when you went to your nickel set, maybe you pick your spots, Tim, and go, okay, let's kick him into nickel now. Let's put Keyshawn and Carrington on the field. I would feel a lot better about the secondary if Jahdae Barron was the nickel and you had Keyshawn on the outside along with Carrington. I'm just about sold on Carrington now. That could change this year too. He might get his ass kicked this year. That could happen.
True.
But if it doesn't, man, I thought what he showed last year, again, 69 passer rating when targeted. Like, he was better than Ja. Ja was 77.6. Keyshawn Nixon was 101.2. Everybody's talking about like Kendall Fuller and players like that. Hey, you can bring them in as a free agent or trade or whatever. His was an 89.8. Carrington played pretty darn good football last year, man.
I think so too. And that's what you want to see with young players, right? The progression. CV looks like one of those dudes who just gets, I don't know, he gets better year to year. And then it's same thing like we're talking about, Jahdae Barron versus Javon Bullard, right? You never know what a guy's going to do when he gets to the league, regardless of where he's drafted. We were really hype on Javon Bullard, and we didn't realize, I don't think, until ultimately we got through camp and into the season and realized that, oh man, this guy's a slot corner. He's not really your deep safety kind of guy. So we don't know what that means for Jahdae Barron, as elite as he is. How is he gonna play in the NFL? What is he gonna look like, and how is he gonna best be utilized? So those are a lot of questions that you don't really get answered till you get through that first season. So yeah, I mean, if we go corner in the first, that's probably the first name or second name on the list for sure. But I'm holding out hope that it doesn't happen.
I love these type of conversations too, because most people who talk ball, it's just how good is the player, but you got to think in terms of deployment.
Yep.
And I learned that from Greg Cosell. Like you've got to look at it as, yes, that player is better than that player, but how are you going to deploy him? How is he going to fit in your scheme? And I know Goody likes, and Ryan Slip did a great breakdown of this the other day. Goody thinks more of who's the best football player, right? And then that's how he determines who he signs or drafts, and then turns them over to the coaches, their job to deploy them. But I love to make sure I'm always thinking at a transaction from a standpoint of how are they going to be deployed in our current scheme. And I think that's what this conversation is all about. His second pick, I'm assuming in this mock that he's talking about from Tankathon, Landon Jackson was the second round pick is what I'm assuming here. He didn't kind of specify, but in the order we're going, that's probably what it is. We've got Landon Jackson in a 32 spot. If we get him in the 50s, sign me up, Tim. Landon Jackson's solid. Got better every year according to PFF. 33rd team had him in the 23 spot, so they think that's great value there. Dane Brugler had him at 45, so that's great value. He was not in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50, but he might be closer to 50 than 100. So I would be totally cool with that pick. Another edge defender there out of Arkansas. He was at the Senior Bowl as well.
The monster edge defender out of Arkansas. 6'7", 280. Holy cow.
He keeps getting brought up, doesn't he? Because we keep talking about the 6'8". So I'm telling you guys, we've been doing this for a few years now. When a player keeps getting mentioned, you end up looking up on draft night and go, I'll be damned, there he is. They drafted him. So just keep an eye out for Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. And then I guess it was the third round pick. They went Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle out of FSU, Florida State. Let's see where we have him at. We've got Joshua Farmer a lot lower than most people do. We've got him in the 189 spot. So if we took him in the third round, Tim, we're looking at somewhere in the 90s, right? That would be a reach according to our board, but I want to mention, here's why he's so low on our board. PFF grade starting in 2022, 318th, 760th, 571st. The PFF big board had him at 124. The consensus big board had him at 189, but Daniel Jeremiah raved over him at the Senior Bowl. So that's going to increase his stock. Daniel Jeremiah, Tim, has him in the 39 spot. So if you removed our draft board completely, and Daniel Jeremiah is baked into our draft board, don't get me wrong, he's saying he's worthy of the 39th pick. If you get him in the 90s, according to Daniel Jeremiah, former NFL scout, he's a steal. Kyle Krabs had him at 125, so it's a little bit of a reach for Kyle Krabs. Dane Brugler had him at 88. It would be a good pick for Dane Brugler. So Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, completely on board with this pick. How do you feel about Josh Farmer there in the third round?
I mean, PFF's back on the train too, right? He's at 58 right now.
It's wild because at the end of the year, Tim, at the end of the football season, they had him 124.
I know. It's wild. And then you look at the grades and they got him ranked 554th out of 895 D linemen. Yet he's the 58th overall prospect. Math ain't math in PFF. Help me understand this.
And what did they say the other day, Tim, when asked about this? It was, well, it's because they might have been misused as a reason they graded out lower. Okay, forget
what
that.
What an arrogant thing to say, right?
How the hell forget that comment. If that's true, how does he go from 124th on your board to what now, Tim? What'd you say he's at now?
58th overall, but 554th of the available D linemen.
Right. Well, we got a better look at him. Okay, then just say that. That's cool. But don't make it sound like the coaches misuse him. That's why the grades aren't matching up. It just, I don't know, man. It seems like a lot of toe tapping, a lot of dancing going on.
I mean, looking at the numbers, it doesn't look like he's been misused, right? I mean, he's a 3-tech, right? 400 plus snaps in the B gap. He played a little bit outside. He played A gap. I mean,
tried him everywhere, huh?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. Is that misusing a guy? trying everything you can to get him on the field and out there
Mhm.
making a difference. I don't know. I don't think he was, used improperly or anything.
And again, I'm not trying to pretend like I understand scouting better than a former NFL scout. Please don't take this the wrong way. I'm simply saying if you've got 2 defensive tackles on our board and one of them shows more consistency at where they're at than the other one who has been all over the charts with PFF grades and stuff, I would lean toward that's how our board's set up though. I would lean toward the safer pick. I'd be like, hey, let's go with the guy that we have less flaws on as opposed to upside. And that's why I'm not a GM though.
Let's hope Darius Alexander falls.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'll take.
You like him a lot more than our board suggests too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on him. Yep, for sure.
But we showed the chart last night, Tim. The public agrees with you, and most of the draft experts do too, man. He is on the rise. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thanks, pal. He says, would love Kenneth Grant if he starts to slip too. Kenneth Grant's one of my favorite players, man. Again, Kenneth Grant, he's toward the top. I shouldn't even have to search. Let me just go back to the top. We're down here in the basement right now looking at Farmer. Kenneth Grant, we've got in the 15 spot.
Yeah.
If he's there at 23, run the card up. Totally good with it.
I feel the same way about Derek Harmon out of Oregon too. Where's Derek Harmon on our list?
He is 24th, so
yeah,
real close.
Yep.
So we got basically the way the defensive line shakes out, and we'll get ready to wrap up here. We appreciate y'all making us part of your morning. Hit that like button for us. Mason Graham is the top defensive lineman according to our board in the 5 spot. Then it goes down to Kenneth Grant is the number 2 defensive lineman on our board. He's sitting in the 15 spot. Then you go down, and these are interior defensive linemen. These are not edge guys. Then it's Walter Nolan in the 23 spot. All right. Derek Harmon right behind him in the 24 spot. And they are like 1 point away from each other. They're in the same tier. So
what about Tyleik Williams?
Tyleik Williams is a little bit lower. We would go from Derek Harmon that we just mentioned, and then the very next defensive lineman is Tyleik Williams at 37.
Right.
So
makes sense.
Not quite worthy of a cluster buster if Goody's board looked like ours, but he's definitely not like out of the realm of possibility. Goody may have Tyleik Williams and Alfred Collins in that tier higher than Derek Harmon and Walter Nolan. We don't, you know what I mean? That could definitely be the case. So let's see here in the chat. And again, thank you for the super chat there, Mike. J. Cole says, I'll take CJ West or Peebles at that point.
Peebles, the kid, Virginia Tech. We talked about him.
Yeah. We've got, let me see where we got CJ West. CJ West. We've got the periods in here, so it takes a minute. CJ West, we've got in the 113 spot. So, yeah, if he was referring to, I think he was referring to that last super chat conversation there, talking about Josh Farmer. Completely agree, Jay. Completely agree. If that's who you were talking about, I would take CJ West over Josh Farmer, hands down. Now, if we were to go with Peebles, we got Peebles even higher at 102. So, yeah, spot on. We're with you there, Jay. At least our board is. So, Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, we're at the 120 mark. Let me go back real quick. I'm trying to think. I want to hit on a couple more topics, and then we'll move along. I know since we're not doing a show tonight, when we go to do a show tomorrow, we'll be so behind. We'll be talking about news 3 days old. So you guys know how I feel about Spoon, Tom Silverstein. He's been with the team, been covering the team for so long. Is he with he's with the Journal Sentinel. Anytime he talks, guys, I feel like he's kind of a extra mouthpiece for the organization. I don't say it in a negative way. I just think they trust him. And when they want to get information out, I feel like if there is anyone that covers the team that they go, that's the dude we would kind of feel. You know how we talked about the Jair's agent, put that information out through Ian Rappaport? I feel like Tom Silverstein is probably the best candidate to do that for Goody on the organization side. He said, Tom Silverstein, and you can read the article. I don't want to say it's clickbaity, but he talks about some of the guys they could go after. But the fact that the title says what it says, don't expect the Packers to feast on free agency the way they did last year. I didn't take that as they're not interested in signing any free agents. I took it as free agency doesn't look as good this year. Last year, Josh Jacobs and Xavier, guys, if you watched us last year, Xavier McKinney from the get-go, that's our top guy. And what I keep saying, Goody ain't going to go after it. But, man, that'd be awesome if he did. What'd he do? Lo and behold, there's not that guy in free agency this year. You know what I mean? I just don't – that's what I think this is more along the lines of. And if this is a message being sent by the Packers through a media member, kind of feels like, hey, guys, temper it a little bit. Free agency isn't quite as good as it was last year. You know what I'm saying?
The Packers are saying, like, we're tired of you bitching about us not taking people in free agency. I mean, what control does Goody have over the market? It's a great point. Last year there was an emphasis, hey, we got to be active in free agency. We got to go after these free agents. And it's like Goody looked at the board and was like, whoa, well, here's a couple guys, and made it happen, right? This year I agree. Other than the big names, I don't see it. So I think this is a way of you could be right. Maybe this is the Packers trying to get out in front of this and soften the blow when the period ends and we in fact do not sign a free agent from the list. So I think we should do it.
Prince in the chat says, I agree. I think Packers will be players on mid to low tier free agents, right? Let that first wave pass through and then come back through and get a couple bargain deals, build out the bottom of the roster.
It might be guys that are already at 1265 too. Let's not rule that out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That may be the free agent signings. It's bringing a couple guys back that we thought might have been out the door,
Yeah. Randy in the chat, yeah, free agency is not looking good this year. And that could change, right? Last second, there could be some cuts. Like we could still cut Ja. If we don't get any offers, there's a chance we cut Ja, just free up the space and move on. That's definitely a possibility too. We do like a post-June 1 cut. So there may be more free agents that are going to hit the market. But even with that being said, Tim, there's none on the horizon that I go, that's the Xavier McKinney this year. That's the Josh Jacobs.
What you just described, though, with Ja, the post-June 1 deal, like the draft's going to tell us what we need to know, right? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden we do go corner in the first round, or we take multiple swings at corner in the draft. We talked about that. There's some talent there, not just receiver and in D-line. But, yeah, I think you're right, man. That anything can happen. That's why this is the most wonderful time of the year, other than when camp starts, right?
And as you said that too, something that clicked in my mind. Let's say we don't get a lot of play for Ja. If you're going to do a post-June 1 cut anyway, why not carry him through the draft? And if a team has a cornerback need and they're looking at it like we would like to fill that need in the draft, oh crap, the board didn't fall the way we wanted it to. Now let's go get Jair.
Right, and here's our 3rd round pick for Jair, like we talked about
next year, right?
Yep.
That makes sense, right? Yeah. Or during the draft, like even that point, right? If the first and second round didn't shake out the way they want, okay, we don't have a high enough grade on any corners and we need to start in corner. Call Green Bay up. We'll give you our 3rd now.
That literally what you described might be the most ideal scenario to get a deal done for all parties considered. That would benefit the Packers. That would benefit, whatever team is trading for him. If Ja truly doesn't want to be here, he gets traded. Like everybody wins in that scenario you just described.
Yeah, for sure, man. Mike Witt would be interested in Bosa or Mack in free agency. Mack, absolutely. Probably Bosa too, but I don't know if he's a free agent, right? Khalil Mack is the one free agent that I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, in my opinion.
We're in the mix too, right? I heard that the Packers and there's like two or three teams that are kind of really in the mix, and we're one of them.
I could have overlooked it. The only thing I've heard, Tim, is like betting odds is kind of,
that's probably what I saw then. Yeah. We have the second best odds or something to land him.
Yeah, for sure. So just something to keep an eye on. That is one free agent for the right price. I'd be like, heck yeah, go get him.
Yeah. And that's a guy that would have no problem coming in and playing that 30, 35 snaps a game, being a rotational guy. He's going to have no problem doing that.
It's kind of built for that, right?
Yep.
This was cool. Andy at CU Andy over on X just put out a quick little clip. A player I am most intrigued to see at the Combine, Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Just wanted to briefly mention him and see where we've got Josh Simmons at. We have Josh Simmons currently sitting. Where is he? I know I seen him earlier. May have to do a search here. I thought he was higher than that. Probably already passed him. Let me do a quick search here. Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. You guys know Goody loves his Ohio State lineman, right? Josh Simmons, yeah, that's why. He's in the 20 spot on our board. Tim, he's one of those guys in that ballpark that, Kelvin Banks will probably be gone when we pick at 23. If Josh Simmons is sitting there at 23, yeah, totally on board with them drafting Josh Simmons.
We said that before, right? Don't be surprised we go O-line in the first round again, second year in a row. It could happen. Yeah. I think there might be a more logical chance of that happening than us going corner in the first round.
Could be. Let's see here. Emilio tore ACL. DJ had us taking him last mock. So you're saying correct this for me here, Emilio, in the chat. Who tore their ACL?
I think it's Simmons.
And what year? If you could be specific.
24. It looks like last season because he's got 6 games here on his PFF chart.
Boom. All right. I'm going to add it to the board, Emilio. Thanks for that information. Thanks for confirming it, Tim. We're going to put a red block on 24 for Josh Simmons. That'll be just a quick little reminder that, hey, don't forget this dude tore his ACL. So,
and don't tear your ACL, Emilio, out there multitasking on the job site.
Yeah, he's sitting down eating a sandwich right now. Are you kidding me? He's
having a breakfast cannoli.
He's eating or an egg McGriddle, which, by the way, I'm 42 years old. My first time trying a McGriddle was this past year. How the hell did somebody not tell me about this sooner?
Oh man, we were trying, Clay. You're late to the party.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable, man. People are tuning in going, why am I watching Josh Simmons block and you are talking about a McGriddle? That's what we do here. This show sucks. So
hit the like button.
Yeah, if you don't mind. A couple other topics. We're going to go a little long. I'm going to continue to go rapid fire. This cracked me up, Tim. I tagged you.
I didn't see that.
Tim is not about the drama on X. Tim is not about the drama on X. But anyway, Jordan Schultz, I've messaged with him quite a bit. I think he's a good guy. He's a dude that, for lack of a better way of saying it, guys, his family pretty much owns Starbucks, right? Let's see here. Schultz is the son of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. This dude has no reason to pursue a career in anything other than just sitting back counting money, to be honest with you. But he wanted to be an NFL insider, so he's kind of jumped into it feet first and being an NFL insider. Seems like a great dude. I've had great conversation with him off air. But him and Ian Rappaport got into it. I tagged Tim here and I said, damn, did Ian yell, I'll call the cops? And some of you may know what that means. If you don't.
Sounds like somebody we know. Yeah.
We'll just leave it alone. But anyway, ML Football tweeted out, report Jordan Schultz verbally went after Ian Rappaport at a Starbucks of all places, at a Starbucks over the Matt Stafford situation per NBC. Schultz is the son of former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. Quote, if this happens again, we're going to have an effing problem, is what Schultz said to Ian. Ian then reported the situation to NFL security.
I don't know. It sounds like
I
don't think either one of these guys want the smoke. I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna confront you at my daddy's business, like home field advantage, right? We're gonna have a problem.
Tim, it's former.
And then Ian's like, "Hey, security."
It's former CEO, but it is hilarious that it had to happen at a Starbucks.
Yeah,
it just had to.
I mean, it's like, and hey, Rapp did what he should do, right? If you're in the wrong area and you ain't got no help, man, you might have to reach out. Have to reach out to security. Hey, I hate to say it, but yeah, that's hilarious, man. Good catch there.
We went down a walk down memory lane. This popped up on my feed, and I was like, let's just let them know we're still here. I said, just checking in for an update. This guy here, Paul Andrew Eston Jr. at Boy Green 25, Jets fan, obviously. This is what he tweeted out in 2023. Man, the Packers fans must really be in their feels right now. Aaron Rodgers took a $35 million pay cut to help the team chase the Super Bowl. He had 100% participation during voluntary OTA programs, has committed to 2 seasons, maybe more. Oh, my. Who won the trade now? LOL. Tim?
That aged like spoiled milk.
Yeah, that's milk on a hot asphalt right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a rough look there, Paul. We just want to give you a shout-out. Moment of silence for Paul Andrew Eston Jr.
Yeah, and moment of silence for the Jets Super Bowl chase. That's not happening either.
Yeah. So anyway, just thought we'd pop that back up. It came across the feed, and I had to laugh. I'm like, man, that's an ugly look. All right, draft news, Tim. Again, we're going to get caught up. Rapid fire. This is important information, and it sucks. But you guys know Abdul Carter. He is on our board, Tim. He's the number 2 prospect behind only Travis Hunter, and they are in the same tier, right? Abdul Carter, according to Adam Schefter, tests today revealed that the potential number 1 pick, Abdul Carter, has a stress reaction. I don't know what that means. In his right foot, and the Penn State standout will need to decide soon whether to have surgery, sources told.
Doc, help us out. Dr. Holmes in the chat. What does that mean?
I don't know if he meant stress fracture or if stress reaction is an actual thing. I have stress reaction all the time when I see how much money Mandy spent shopping. You know what I mean? That's a stress reaction. So, no, but this sucks because I feel really comfortable saying that Bill Carter's probably going to drop a little bit, and it sucks. But if the tests come back and they go, hey, no, he'll be good to go for training camp, maybe it won't affect it, you know. But
it depends on how you look at sucks. I mean, sucks for him if he drops. It might not suck for, I don't know, the Packers if he's on the board and we're looking at edge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so Holmes, if you would, or hell, we can Google search it. Holmes probably ain't even a doctor. He just Google searching stuff too.
I got him. Here he is. I think they meant stress fracture.
That's
which may need to be pinned or plated. Yikes! Ooh. Yeah, that'll
that sucks.
That'll hurt your foot literally, and your draft stock and your play speed and lots of things.
Yeah, hopefully that's not a huge deal. Moving forward, but boy, it's just not looking good. All right, ML football, the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL under the age of 27. All right, this is how they list them. Number 1, Jaden Daniels. Number 2, Justin Herbert. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. Number 4, Jordan Love.
Here's the guy.
Number 5, Drake May. 6, Bryce Young. 7, CJ Stroud. 8, Caleb Williams. And then it looks like 9 was Brock Purdy. 10 was Trevor Lawrence. I disagree with the Brock Purdy thing. I personally think Brock Purdy, and this is just my personal opinion, I think Brock Purdy, y'all are going to hate me for this, guys. You're going to absolutely hate me for this. I would put Jaden Daniels 1, Jalen Hurts 2, Brock Purdy 3, Jordan Love 4, Justin Herbert 5, and then everything else I really don't care about. I think Brock Purdy is a damn good quarterback, man. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love seeing Jordan Love up there in the 4th spot. That's really cool. And just a quick reminder, guys, he's not even 27 yet. That is awesome. That's absolutely awesome, man.
Yep. Thanks, Goody. Appreciate it.
Yep. There you go.
That's it. Absolutely. I don't know about Caleb Williams being there. I probably I might switch him and Fabio on that list. Put Caleb at the back.
Yeah, and to me, you're kind of comparing puke to poop at that point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
everyone smells less terrible. Put them at
I would definitely put spot. Caleb and Trevor would be the last 2 on this list for me, no doubt about it. And that's not just because he's a Bears player. You guys know I will tell you how I feel. Like I talked about the Lions. There were people dogging Jared Goff last year at times. I'm like, dude, Jared Goff's playing damn good football. I'm not just gonna make up a narrative and pretend like this isn't true. Caleb Williams. You can look at the stats, the touchdown to interception ratio, and go, man, good year. You watch the tape. He cost his team. He cost his team a lot of points last year taking sacks. And it wasn't because, oh, my God, the offensive line can't block. It's because he didn't know how to read a damn defense. And like Greg Cosell said, that happened at USC as well. So, yeah. Let's see here. J. Cole, I heard they aren't doing surgery, so that's good news, right?
Well, I don't know because Doc's got a comment. Even if surgery is not required, they take a long time to heal, and it's really tough to run.
There you go.
So this is almost like Ja with the shoulder. Remember the shoulder? Is he going to have surgery? Is he not? What does this mean? And he was a different player after that. Yeah. So this is kind of sad for Abdul Carter, man. Either way, it's going to be a struggle, I think, coming through the draft and then his rookie season. Because if he tries to go, he's drafted, right? Let's say his draft stock falls a little. Maybe he's still a top 20, 25 kind of pick. And he ends up on a team, didn't have the surgery, has a setback, and now he's having surgery his rookie season. He's probably done. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't look good for him.
I agree. All right. Let's see here. That was what we hit earlier, but good. This was interesting to me, man. Mark Chmura. You guys know I try not to speak out against former players. They know way more about the game than me, but he made a comment this morning, man, and I was just like, are we really going this route? He was blaming, and you guys need go listen to it yourself, okay, in case I misunderstood, but the way I took it was he blamed Aaron Rodgers for Jair Alexander's situation.
What?
Yeah, he was like, I'll tell you who I blame for this. I blame Brian Gutekunst. I blame Matt LaFleur, and I blame Aaron Rodgers. So it's like he's saying that Aaron Rodgers had an effect on Jair. It's like, guys, how how long are we going to blame Aaron Rodgers for crap in Green Bay? Like, and again, I respect Chewy for everything he did on the field. He knows more about football than I'll ever know. He's forgotten more about football than I ever know. But that's just like man, you guys are still ass hurt over Aaron Rodgers, aren't you? Like, you just can't – you cannot stand to not run him through the mud. It's just wild to me. And the part that bothers me the most, and I don't think Chewy will do this, but when he returns to Green Bay, a good chunk of those people that were running his name through the mud, as soon as they hang that 12, it's going to be, oh, Aaron's back, and like nothing happened. It's like, oh. Am I off base here? I wonder what the chat thinks too.
No, I got your back. I agree. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, yeah, we're still talking about Abdul Carter in the chat.
Oh, I don't know. It's just a weird thing there, man.
Here, Andy Watkins. He's projecting on his own experience.
Yeah,
you know, like I guess, which of course was a decade and a half before Aaron Rodgers ever showed up in Green Bay or whatever. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, little off base there.
So anyway, I just wanted to hit that because I heard that this morning. I may have misunderstood it too. So if you guys seen something different, let me know. Let's see here. Oh, this was interesting. And it's the last thing, and we'll wrap up. I promised him. Appreciate you hanging out a little longer.
Yeah,
so we were talking about Siobhan Revell, right? If you guys get a chance, go read this article. If you're subscribed to, you got to be subscribed to The Athletic. It's not much at all, though. I went ahead and paid it. Really cool article. I said you can't question Siobhan Revell Jr.'s drive. That's for sure. And Dane Brugler said a horrific car accident working at Amazon while his football journey was on pause. Now an ACL injury. Siobhan Revell Jr. has faced more adversity than most, but he projected top 50 cornerback will never stop chasing his NFL dreams. So if you guys get a chance, go read that article over at it's the New York Times, but I think it's tied to The Athletic, if I remember correctly. Really cool article. Tim, this stuff isn't great. Like car accident, a player that you might potentially draft, former car accident, that's not good news. An ACL injury, that's not good news. But the fact that this dude's fighting his ass off to come back, it seems like he loves football, man. Loves football. So I'm just saying, read the article and you guys let me know what you think about it, because I think it's interesting.
That looks like a good read for sure.
Yeah, check it out.
You got to love the heart, man. When you see that kind of heart in a young player, it makes you really want to hear that infamous sound.
Yeah, right. Dane Brugler said top 50, right? The fact that he said top 50 is like, hold up a minute. So is he going to fall that far?
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah. If he falls into the 40s and you trade up from your second round pick a little bit higher to get, hey, maybe that could happen. I was thinking he was going to kind of, like I said, I know he's got the red mark there for 24 with the injury. But I was kind of looking at him like, man, he might be gone before we pick at 23, so we'll see though. We'll see. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, LOL, Chewy has it. Oh, come on now, guys. How y'all going to make me read this with a super chat? This is not my opinion of a former player. Okay. You guys know I don't like to drag former players through the mud, but this is Mike Witt's opinion and he paid to express it. Okay. And that is not the precedent we're going to set on this show that you guys think you can do a super chat and I'll read anything on the air. That does not happen. I will gladly refund you. But thank you, Mike, for the super chat. He says, LOL, Chewy hasn't been relevant for his opinion in the state since the mid-90s. I can't read the rest of it. I can't bring myself to read the rest of it, Mike. We put it on the screen. Thank you for the super chat.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. Golly. Jake, oh, damn. Holmes knew what I was getting into. I was reading other things before I read the super chat. Holmes just laughing.
Call a doctor. We got shots fired in the chat.
Again, that is Mike Witt's opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an investigative journalist. I thought Chewy was a hell of a football player. I like most of his opinions. I just thought that was really weird that he said that about Aaron.
Yeah, I'll stick to that. Let's stick to football. Hell of a tight end, that Mark Chimara.
And he clears it easy now.
Easy.
Green Ranger with the frozen emoji.
Oh, man.
There you go, Mike Witt. That's my opinion. I'll take it. Hey, Mike, respect, buddy. And thank you for the super chat, man. You're too kind to the show for sure. Prince, cost of low-hanging fruit is $5.
$5.
It's actually like $2. Anyway, all right, that's it. This show sucks. And Mike Witt, it's your fault. But we do want to thank you for all the super chats today, sir. You've been too
Mike
kind.
Witt's paying the bills over here. Look at that.
Seriously, man, we appreciate it. We do. And we can we can agree to disagree on that opinion with a former player. But man, that broke me up. It was more about the
best guy around.
It's more about the reactions in the comment than anything. Yeah. There you go. Holmes said, well, this show sucks later. Hey, hit that like button on the way out, Holmes. It does suck more than you know. So, Tim, thank you for your time, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry I was late.
No, hey, no problem, man. Thanks for hanging around a little longer. Guys, we will see you tomorrow. It will be an evening show tomorrow, okay? We're taking tonight off. Got some stuff we got to take care of. So we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, and we should have some early RAS information coming in from the Combine as we got activities going on today. So everybody have a great day. Talk to you soon.
And we go.
Bye, guys.